It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt Max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Halloween podcast. I am your host, Lyle Perez. You're listening to episode 19 of our special series, The Dark Record, where we uncover chilling and unexplainable events pulled straight from the shadows of history. On the night of November 22nd, 1987, television in Chicago was interrupted by something no one expected. The signal broke, the screen filled with buzzing static, and a figure in a rubber Max Headroom mask appeared, taunting, flailing, and broadcasting chaos straight into people's homes. Then, as quickly as it began, it was over. The pirate was never caught. No one ever claimed responsibility, and the hijack remains one of the most infamous unsolved media intrusions in history. The next entry into the dark record: the Max Headroom signal hijacking. Let's begin. Before we explore the hijacking itself, we need to rewind a bit, because to fully understand the bizarre nature of this case, you need to know who Max Headroom was, and why someone would choose to impersonate him in the first place. Also, make sure you stay till the very end of this episode for a special treat. Max Headroom wasn't a real person. He was a fictional artificial intelligence, a computer-generated TV host with glitchy mannerisms, stuttering speech, and slicked-back plastic hair. But here's the twist. In the 1980s, computer-generated characters weren't actually possible yet, not at that level. So Max was played by a real actor, Matt Frewer, dressed in prosthetics and filmed in a way that made him look like a digitized personality. He was the future of media, without actually being made by a computer. Max Headroom made his first appearance in 1985 in a British TV movie called Max Headroom, 20 minutes into the future. The film was set in a dystopian cyberpunk world controlled by giant media corporations, where Max was born out of a data experiment gone wrong. He was clever, sarcastic, and always breaking the fourth wall. Think new wave David Letterman, run through a modem. After the film aired, Max became an unexpected pop culture sensation. Channel 4 in the UK gave him his own music video show, where he acted as a futuristic VJ, cracking jokes and mocking the very content he was introducing. Then came a wave of merchandise, commercials, and even a Pepsi campaign for New Coke. For a brief moment, Max Headroom was everywhere. America caught on quickly. In 1987, ABC debuted a primetime sci-fi drama simply called Max Headroom. It took the cyberpunk themes of the original movie and ran with them. Corporate media control, identity loss, surveillance, and digital manipulation. It only lasted 2 seasons, but the tone stuck with people. It was weird, ahead of its time, unnerving even. And that brings us back to 1987, just months after the ABC show ended. Max Headroom wasn't just a pop icon. He was the symbol of media saturation, artificial control, and glitchy rebellion. So when someone hijacked the airwaves wearing that face, it felt deliberate, like they were trying to make a statement, or maybe they were just trying to get away with something strange enough to never be forgotten. At about 9:14 p.m. on Sunday, November 22, 1987, Chicagoans watching WGN-TV Channel 9 were tuned in for the nightly sports report. Sportscaster Dan Roan had just wrapped up highlights from the Chicago Bears' victory over the Detroit Lions. He was preparing to move on to the next story when the screen abruptly cut to black. What followed lasted just 28 seconds, but it was enough to confuse, disturb, and spark one of the strangest mysteries in broadcast history. The picture came back, but it wasn't the newsroom. It wasn't a glitch either. It was something else entirely. A person wearing a rubber Max Headroom mask, complete with sunglasses and a smirking plastic grin, stood in front of a piece of corrugated metal that looked like a cheap homemade version of Max's iconic digital background. The figure bobbed and swayed in silence, with only a loud buzzing sound in the background, like distorted audio static or a misaligned signal. There was no speech, no clear message, just this masked figure staring into the camera, making odd movements as if performing some kind of twisted pantomime. The signal was shaky, unstable, and barely coherent, but it was unmistakably not part of the WGN broadcast. Inside the station, engineers were stunned. They had no idea what was happening. This wasn't a feed from another studio, and no one had authorized anything resembling a Max Headroom parody. The hijack had come from somewhere outside the station's control, overpowering the microwave transmission between WGN's broadcast center and their transmitter atop the John Hancock Center. Fortunately for WGN, the intrusion didn't last long. Engineers quickly switched the frequency on the studio transmitter link, effectively booting the rogue signal off the air. Within half a minute, the sports broadcast resumed, and Dan Roan, clearly confused, remarked, "Well, if you're wondering what just happened, so am I." At first, many viewers thought it was some kind of strange promo or Halloween leftover. Others assumed it was a technical malfunction. In 1987, TV signals didn't go rogue, not like that. But even with how brief the moment was, WGN knew right away this wasn't an internal glitch. Someone had broken in. At the time, the incident wasn't treated like a major emergency. No one was hurt, and the interruption seemed more bizarre than threatening. The station filed a report with the FCC and moved on. But the story didn't end there. Just 2 hours later, it happened again. This time on a different station. And this time, it would go much further than anyone expected.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt Max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
At 11:20 p.m., just over 2 hours after the WGN incident, the hijacker struck again. This time, it wasn't during a local sports segment. It was during a syndicated broadcast of Doctor Who on WTTW, Chicago's PBS affiliate. The episode was Horror of Fang Rock, a 4th Doctor serial featuring creepy isolation, a lighthouse, and alien impersonation. Ironically fitting, considering what was about to happen. Without warning, the Doctor's image flickered and vanished. The screen cut to static, then once again to the same masked figure, Max Headroom. But this time, there was no interruption from station engineers, no quick recovery. WTTW had no staff monitoring the signal in real time, and their transmitter wasn't equipped to reroute the feed like WGN's had been. So viewers at home were forced to sit through the entire 90-second hijack in full, completely unfiltered. And it was weird. The masked figure danced erratically in front of the same metallic background, flapping his arms and swaying from side to side. But this time, he spoke. In a distorted, high-pitched voice that sounded like it had been run through a voice modulator or possibly just an overdriven microphone, he rambled through a series of cryptic, mocking, and sometimes unsettling phrases. He began by laughing and shouting, "He's a frickin' nerd," then referenced WGN sportscaster Chuck Swirsky, saying, "I made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds," possibly mocking WGN's parent company, the Chicago Tribune, also known as the world's greatest newspaper. He hummed the Clutch Cargo theme song. He threw out random exclamations like, "My brother is wearing the other one, and I still see the X." The speech was disjointed, manic, and filled with in-jokes that only the hijacker, and perhaps a few others, might have understood. Then came the props. At one point, he held up a can of Pepsi and exclaimed, "Catch the wave!" A direct jab at Max Headroom's role as the spokesperson for Coca-Cola's short-lived New Coke. It wasn't just parody, it was mockery against the Max Headroom image, the networks, the advertisers, maybe even society itself. As the hijack continued, the figure's behavior became more erratic. He held up a latex glove and said, "My files," before pulling it over his hand like a puppet. He then dropped it, bent out of frame, and groaned loudly. The final moments crossed the line from strange to unsettling. The screen cut to a new shot. The camera had shifted, and now the masked figure was partially disrobed from the waist down, with his rear end exposed. An unidentified woman, possibly wearing a French-made costume, entered the frame and began spanking him with a fly swatter. He screamed. The buzzing audio returned. Then the screen cut to black. Moments later, Doctor Who resumed as if nothing had happened. There was no explanation, no warning, and no way for the average viewer to know what they had just seen. WTTW's engineers scrambled to make sense of the situation, but it was already too late. The hijack had ended before they could respond. The station notified the FCC, just as WGN had, and the incident made news headlines the next day. But they had no answers. What made this second intrusion so much more infamous than the first wasn't just the duration, it was the sheer surrealism of it. The imagery was crude and homemade, yet disturbingly deliberate. It was like performance art mashed up with media satire, filtered through the lens of a late-night fever dream. Viewers didn't know whether to laugh or be creeped out. Many felt both. To this day, the clip circulates online, where it's been analyzed, parodied, and dissected by everyone from tech forums to horror YouTubers. It's only 90 seconds long, but it's packed with enough strangeness to haunt you for a lifetime. But how exactly did someone pull this off? What kind of equipment did they need? And why haven't they ever been caught? Pulling off something like this in 1987 wasn't easy. This wasn't a matter of hijacking a Wi-Fi signal or hacking into a live stream. It required hardware, power, technical know-how, and very precise timing. The pirate had to overpower a professional-grade broadcast signal from close range and do it without being traced in real time. Both the WGN and WTTW signals were transmitted using microwave relay links from their studios. to the broadcast towers located atop Chicago skyscrapers, WGN, through the John Hancock Center in WTTW, likely through the Sears Tower. These microwave links acted like invisible highways, sending line-of-sight signals through the air that were then broadcast to viewers across the city. To interrupt that process, the hijacker would have needed a microwave transmitter powerful enough to override the original studio signal and direct it at the same tower. It's a trick known as the capture effect. If a second signal is strong enough, the receiver can lock onto the new one instead of the intended source, even if it wasn't authorized. It's the broadcast equivalent of shouting louder than the person who has the microphone. To succeed, the intruder had to be relatively close to the towers, possibly even in a car parked on a rooftop or on a nearby building with clear line of sight. He had to know the exact frequency WGN and WTTW were using and be able to match or slightly offset it to sneak in. He had to switch equipment between intrusions, change locations, and avoid detection, all while transmitting live video. That level of precision suggests it wasn't just someone goofing off with a camcorder. Theories at the time speculated that it could have been a disgruntled former engineer, a college radio tech, or someone working in pirate TV circles who had access to broadcast equipment and knew how to use it. Even in the underground world of 80s media pranksters, this kind of stunt stood out for its technical sophistication. And it worked. No one caught the signal as it was happening. No triangulation teams arrived. The hijacker vanished into the night, leaving behind only confusion and grainy VHS recordings from viewers who happened to be taping Doctor Who that night. Despite the professionalism of the execution, the broadcast itself felt anything but. It was amateurish, chaotic, and absurd. The hijacker seemed to revel in being nonsensical. He was mocking the very idea of order in television, disrupting structure with noise, parody, and discomfort. He didn't just interrupt the signal, he made a mockery of it. Still, the sophistication of the hijack and the crudity of the content created a strange contrast. It left authorities with more questions than answers, and very little evidence to work from. There was no ransom note, no political message, no clear motive, just the image of Max Headroom, distorted and screaming into the void. The FCC immediately launched an investigation. So did local authorities, though their jurisdiction was limited. Signal hijacking was a federal crime, and back then, it was taken seriously, especially when it involved a major television stations in a city the size of Chicago. But despite the urgency, no one had any leads. The pirate had left no fingerprints, no traceable signal, and no one came forward with credible information. They simply vanished. Agents visited local broadcast schools, ham radio clubs, and even electronic suppliers, trying to determine who might have had access to the kind of equipment needed. Rumors floated around college campuses. Some claimed to know who did it, others said it was a group, but nothing ever stuck. Years passed, and with no arrests, the story faded into urban legend. By 1992, the statute of limitations had expired. Even if the hijackers stepped forward today, they could no longer be charged under federal law. That only added to the mystique. Most unsolved crimes stay in the realm of police reports and cold case files. But this one lived on because it wasn't just a crime. It was performance. Bizarre, unexplainable, and perfectly preserved on VHS. Theories about who pulled it off range from plausible to absurd. Some believe it was an inside job, someone who once worked at a station and had knowledge of the signal paths and frequencies. Others think it was a group of media-savvy pranksters, college kids trying to make a statement or pull off the ultimate late-night joke. A few even suggested it was politically motivated. some kind of protest about media monopolies or corporate advertising, though the content itself didn't support that. There's also a camp that believes it was just chaos for chaos's sake, that whoever did it wanted to be remembered, not understood, and in that sense, they succeeded. In the decades since, the Max Headroom hijack has become one of the most famous examples of broadcast signal intrusion. It's taught in media ethics courses, referenced in hacking documentaries, and even spoofed in shows like Family Guy and Futurama. It's been covered by tech YouTubers, conspiracy theorists, and pop culture commentators alike, not because of what it said, but because of how strange it was, and because it still has no ending.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt Max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
For a crime that caused no physical harm, the Max Headroom hijack left a deep psychological mark. It violated the invisible contract viewers had with their screens, that what they were watching was controlled, curated, and safe. The sudden appearance of something so raw and nonsensical breaking into trusted programming created a sense of unease that lingered long after the buzz and static had faded. People remember where they were when they saw it. Even those who missed the original broadcast talk about it as if they had. That's the power of myth meeting media. And the fact that it was wrapped in the image of Max Headroom, a character already associated with glitchy rebellion and anti-corporate sarcasm, only deepened its impact. It was as if the hacker had used the perfect disguise to reflect the very thing they were disrupting. Over time, the hijack came to represent something larger than itself. It became a symbol of media vulnerability, a reminder that the systems we trust can be manipulated, that the images we see and the voices we hear can be overridden by a single powerful signal if someone knows how to do it. It also became a kind of legend for the hacker subculture, a modern ghost story told through electromagnetic waves. In an era where digital security dominates headlines and cybercrime is both invisible and complex, the Max Headroom incident feels almost quaint, analog, homemade. But that's what makes it so compelling. There was no malware, no phishing, just someone with a transmitter, a VHS tape, and a willingness to get weird on live TV. No one's ever done it again, not like that. Not on broadcast television at that scale, with that level of mystery and that degree of theatricality. It remains one of the only hijacks of its kind that's still unsolved, still preserved, and still talked about nearly 4 decades later. It was a moment where the signal cracked, just long enough for something strange to get through, something that didn't belong. That brings us to the end of episode 19. We've revisited one of the strangest media mysteries ever captured on tape, an unsolved hijack that interrupted television not with threats or demands, but with absurdity, static, and a smirking plastic face. The Max Headroom signal intrusion wasn't just a prank. It was a glitch in the system, a flash of chaos in a medium built on control. No one knows who did it. No one ever claimed credit. But in less than 2 minutes of hijacked airspace, they etched themselves into broadcast history, remembered, retold, and now added to the record. Next time, we head into the pine forests of New Jersey, where in 1909, a wave of sightings brought panic to towns across the state, winged, hooved, screaming through the skies. Was it folklore run wild, or something more? we'll explore the Jersey Devil sightings of 1909. Until then, I'm Lyle Perez, and this has been the Halloween Podcast, presenting The Dark Record. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps keep the show alive and weird. You can also explore sources, extras, and more at our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Halloween Podcast or at our website, thehalloweenpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, stay curious, and remember, even the strongest signal can be hijacked. Have a good night.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt Max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Hey everybody, Lyle here from the Halloween Podcast, and I just finished that Dark Record episode with Max Headroom, and I was talking to Megan. Megan's with me. Hey Megan, how you doing?
Not so bad, Lyle. How are you?
Good. But you're in for a treat. So,
Oh boy.
I was talking to Megan, and you guys know Megan by now. I mean, she's been on quite a few episodes. She's helping with the Dark Record. I really appreciate all of the hard work that she's doing. It honestly, if it wasn't for her, I don't think the Dark Record would be on right now. She stepped up. She said, "Hey, I'm gonna help you," and I said, "Okay, perfect." Because I mean, 61 shows in so little time. Because honestly, I didn't really decide for sure I was doing it until probably a week or two before it happened. So, Megan, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Not a problem at all. Happy to help.
So, I was talking to Megan, and I told her, "Hey, do you know what Max Headroom is?" And she said, "No, I've never heard of that." And I was like, "Well, you're in for a treat, because this one, I want to get your genuine reaction on this thing." So, everyone just listened to the episode, but Megan did not. Megan is actually, we're recording this way before this episode comes out. So Megan has no idea what Max Headroom is. And I keep mentioning Max Headroom. So Megan, do you have any questions about what Max Headroom is?
I have nothing but questions about what Max Headroom is. I'm starting to feel a little nervous about finding out.
Well, the actual Max Headroom, it was a TV show in the 80s. Matt Fewer, he was the guy who portrays Max Headroom, and Max Headroom is basically like a talking AI head that is very glitchy. He's like a TV host, and he's very glitchy. I sent you a video of kind of like what Max Headroom kind of really was, but it was a TV show in the 80s. And I think that show came out in British TV in 1985, the year I was born, and so it's just one of those off the wall, crazy 80s shows. So go ahead and take a look at what Max Headroom was. Just take a look at that video. Go ahead and hit play.
Okay, hitting play with trepidation.
Yes. And if you guys know Max Headroom, I mean, come on, it's weird in itself.
This is Max Headroom, and what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever produced in the history of television. There's more.
If only you guys could see Megan's face.
Well. Yes, it. Yes, it. Yes, namely, the Max Headroom story.
So disturbing.
And afterwards, that is directly following, I want to talk to you about something even bigger, namely, Max Headroom. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy my film.
Oh my goodness, it's like watching an AI serial killer giving a message.
Yes, but I mean, that gives you the sense of what Max Headroom is. It's just weird. He's very glitchy at times. Oh, wow.
Wow, this explains so much about the 80s.
Yes.
This is what was entertainment. Oh my
It is bizarre. All right, I got another video for you.
Oh, good, because
So-
I'm ready to stop this.
All right.
So
the
disturbing.
Next, Max Headroom also did like he was a spokesman for a little bit. Well, he did a commercial for Coca-Cola, and
Oh my
here
word.
is the commercial for the Coca-Cola, and it's definitely something to behold.
I'm just looking at this still. I haven't even hit play yet, and I'm already disturbed. Right.
Yes.
Look out for the young lady.
Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one.
Oh yes, it's
Okay.
That's the one of the actual event.
Okay, all right.
Oh my
I didn't.
gosh.
I've stopped. I've stopped
Okay,
it.
stop that.
It's like,
And
I'm waiting for the Coca-Cola tie-in.
welcome to the Dark Record After Dark, I guess is how we can call it, where we are just here talking about weird stuff. Hold on, let me look at the still. Oh, you saw the still already. Okay, yeah. So that is the Coca-Cola one that I just sent you.
Okay, all right. Here we go. Watching it now.
And I like that commercial too, just so you guys know.
Ecology. The study of good taste. In fact, the taste that stands the test.
Yes,
The test where new Coke takes on Pepsi, i.e.,
that's as in.
the new Coke Pop Quiz. Cokeologists dismissed. All others pay attention.
When Coke did take on Pepsi in nationwide tests, more people chose Coke over Pepsi. Prove it to yourself. You'll see why more people are choosing the taste of Coke. Catch the
Oh, boy.
wave. Coke.
So that was one of the commercials. They did a few of them.
I love how they're like, let's promote our product with a character who doesn't work most of the time. He's super glitchy. It'll make our product look great.
Yes. But are you a Coke person or a Pepsi person or neither?
I would lean more toward being a Coke person.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep. Grew up with it. Lived in
Yeah.
Atlanta for a little while. Needs to be done.
Well, Max Headroom was there for you.
Oh.
All right. So
Pause.
let me give you a little bit of an insight as to what you're about to experience. Because again, you didn't hear the episode, but the people that are listening to this, if anybody's even still here, really. So what happened? Trying to get back to my notes real quick. At about 9:14 p.m. on Sunday, November 22nd, 1987. So this is a couple years after. People were sitting down to watch. You know, this happened in a few different, like, I guess, channels, because there was a couple of different broadcasts going on. The one I sent you, I don't remember exactly what that was from, but it was just a regular broadcast. All of a sudden, the signal got glitchy, and out of nowhere comes like this dude in a Max Headroom mask with a bunch of weird imagery going on in the background, and it just shows up out of nowhere and it disappears. So go ahead and check it out,
Okay.
Megan.
I'm
You will be disturbed. I was disturbed.
already disturbed.
Is it?
Oh, don't touch that, please, miss. Oh, yes, it's a lonely life up in the lighthouse, you see. I go out sometimes and talk to the seals, you know, just to get a change from rooting and bed.
Seals are animals.
Oh, yes.
That is
Oh, boy.
stupid. You should talk
It's
after
coming,
the
Megan,
old
it's
ones
coming.
of your tribe. That is the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
Some dry
Oh no.
Can you imagine sitting at 9:14 p.m. with your kids all of just watching TV.
Oh my goodness.
And that shows up.
That is so disturbing.
Yes.
I was 3 when this happened. I'm so glad I didn't see it. I would have been scarred for life.
Yeah.
I think I might still be scarred for life.
I'm so
that is
sorry
all
for
the
subjecting
worst
you to
parts
this.
of like the clown phobia and just
Yeah.
everything.
That piece of metal in the background.
Really freaked people out. Yeah, it's like a piece of corrugated metal.
Yeah. And then like the fly swatter comes out of nowhere.
And like there's obviously there weren't during the actual broadcast, but there are subtitles going across the bottom so you can
Right.
vaguely understand. Oh, can you imagine on primetime television?
Yeah. At it even happened during a football game.
As far as I can tell, a massive electric shock, he died instantly.
And then it just goes back.
And just like that.
Oh, we're so careful. It's
Yeah.
very dark.
It happened twice.
So you're doing the same broadcast?
During a different broadcast, I know at the one at 9:14 happened, and then there was another one. It was a little shorter at 11:20. 2 hours later on WGN, the hijacking happened again, and a lot of people they ended up thinking it was like a Halloween type deal, but no, it was just nobody knows.
So was
It
this
just-
on Halloween?
No, it was after Halloween. It was like on
Okay.
November 22nd. So it might have been, people might have thought it was like some leftover, Halloween
Yeah.
promotion thing that just didn't happen. But they had it in the rotation and it showed up. But
That's bizarre.
it is.
Especially like really wholesome, old-fashioned show.
Yeah. And then
Absolute horror.
all of a sudden, that's just what makes that incident so weird and off the walls, because they obviously it was somebody hijacked the signal, which
Yeah.
most people thought that was impossible. You couldn't do it. And sure enough, this guy, there had to have been at least 2 of them, because there's one guy who's getting spanked by somebody else
Yeah.
with the fly swatter, so there's at least 2 people. And they never figured out who did it. They never figured out anything. Whoever did it never came forward. The stat came forward, they wouldn't be able to get prosecuted for it. So nobody ever took claim. Nobody said I did it. It was just some bizarre thing in '87 that happened. And yeah, we're still talking about it 20, 30
There's
years later.
something very Gotham City about it.
Yeah.
It's like something that the Joker or the Riddler or something does in Batman.
Yes, it's very, very similar to that. It is.
Oh my word, so disturbing.
Yes.
I'm gonna
and-
see that for the next week.
Oh, you're gonna see it for the rest of your life.
That's horrible.
I think
Oh
you're gonna
my goodness.
regret the day you ever found the Halloween podcast.
Right? It's like traumatized for life. Why? Lyle
Yeah.
Perez.
Yes, the Halloween podcast did it.
Oh my
But-
goodness.
Yeah.
That, like, don't get me wrong, so disturbing, but also like quite cool that it happened. Like that
Yeah.
somebody was able to break into the signal.
Yep.
Like no matter what they were showing, it would be kind of cool that they were able to do that.
Yeah.
But the choice of thing, oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, that just goes to show you how big Max Headroom was. It was a popular thing. So I was surprised when you said I've never heard of it. I was kind of surprised. Like, wow, I know about it, and I mean I wasn't really aware at that time. I was 1 when it showed up.
Yeah, I was 3.
But
There you go, folks.
yeah, but yeah, it's just off the wall, weird thing, and I am so glad I got to see your reaction, because that. In
Oh my
itself-
goodness.
The amount of flies that flew into her mouth.
I volunteered for this. Trying to remind myself I volunteered for this. Oh my goodness. Oh,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure you're
Never gonna be able to unsee that ever.
You're gonna want to go back and listen to this episode when it actually airs in a couple weeks. So you're gonna want to hear all about Max Headroom.
Oh my, yes, I definitely do.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much again. It's gonna seem like a second ending to your episode, but yeah, you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, Megan, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
Thanks. Have a good night.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt Max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.